Please try now. ಇದು ತೆಗ್ದಾಗ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. Oh, we are still not able to get. I will do one thing. I will leave my speaker microphone on. Oh, Ishan, can you come here quick? ಬರ್ತೀಯಾ ಈಗ? ನನ್ನ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಂತ, ಇನ್ನೇನು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಂತ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು. Okay, now how do we fix? People are watching. Siri, can you speak any words, please? Yeah. Can you speak to me now?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women's Day virtual event.
Apparently not yet, Ramesh.
Yeah, I'm being told.
No
Can't
audio.
hear. Yeah. You can see us saying something, but audio is not through. Oh, someone said I can hear Siri. Oh, there's a lag probably.
I can hear Siri now, but there's a lag.
I think-
But I think whatever issue was there was fixed.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
Siri
I
is
got-
audible. The
Yeah,
panelists
now
are
they can
audible.
hear us.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can hear us, guys.
We got it in caps. Yeah. Okay.
Yep, we are on.
Sounds good. So would that mean Padma Shree's intro? Okay, let's start from the start. Sorry, guys. I think Padma Shri could start with the apology if anyone is on already. Okay.
Ramesh, good to go? All right.
Yep.
Firstly, I want to apologize for the technical glitch that we just faced. So we are going to start all over. I really appreciate the patience of the viewers right now on YouTube. And thank you so much for giving us the feedback on the audio. You're all helping us debug on the run. So truly, truly appreciate all of your feedback and your patience with us. So I'm going to start over again, and then we are going to pass on to the panelists. So good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome all of you to the Women's Day talk organized by Helping Souls of North America, which is abbreviated as HSNA. My name is Padma Shri Gargesha, and I currently serve as the president of HSNA. Before we move on to our exciting panel discussions, I would like to take a few minutes to talk about the various initiatives that we are involved in through HSNA. HSNA is a fledgling nonprofit in the Portland metro area, which took its wings in the month of October of last year. We, as an organization with the sole purpose of serving the community, have 9 areas of focus, which we call our initiatives. Through these initiatives, we encourage all community members to collaborate towards the greater sense of giving back to it. Even before it was given a nonprofit status, HSNA as a group of volunteers was involved in several causes in the community. Let me share a little slide that talks about what we did in the last year. There are some of the initiatives that we have been working on in the past and will continue to do in the future as well. Under the arm of education, we conduct online or in-person camps for kids in the community, such as Vedic camp, electronic camps, for benefits of all kids in the community. And these are actually run by kids most of the time. Through our family support, we have time and again witnessed this very humbling examples of how the community has come together to bolster up our own friends and neighbors who are going through a life-changing event in their household. We are trying to raise awareness and participation among members of all ages to conserve and live closely with nature through our environment initiatives. Trail cleanups, tree plantings happen on a regular cadence. Watch out the space for announcements on events for Earth Day we are planning shortly. Through our food and nutrition drives, we are doing our part to help transition folks from homelessness to a more respectable living condition. We have collected food in collaboration with other nonprofits in the area to contribute to our local food pantries. We will continue more of this work and also to raise awareness on topics such as nutrition among our community members. We go the extra mile literally with our health and well-being initiatives. Our team organizes morning walks and runs every weekend for the community's benefit and has also held yoga day events in the past. Our animal welfare initiative recently conducted a workshop for kids to make toys for pets, which was donated to an animal shelter in the Portland area. And they have many exciting initiatives planned for the future as well. Through Youth Club, we are trying to help nurture the passion to serve among kids at a very early age, including helping them build on their leadership skills. Youth are involved in all our initiatives and their volunteering hours count towards PDSA nominations for the year. Our culture and creative arm works a lot in the background and also sometimes on the foreground with all the teams to organize initiatives, initiative-specific drives and events. I would like to thank all of our volunteering leads and community members who reinforce our belief that all these initiatives are indeed towards achieving the greater good by enthusiastically and tirelessly dedicating their time to participate in them. Thank you from all of the HSNA core team and the BODs. But wait, I'm not done yet. There is another very important initiative that we are involved in, which is the focus of tonight. The Women's Day celebrations aren't complete until we take a positive step towards empowering women and girls. Our women empowerment arm of HSNA aspires to do exactly this. We are trying to take baby steps towards this cause, and this talk is our first effort towards this. This team is led by two extremely passionate women, Siri Malladi and Subhashini Manyam. Including them, it's my pleasure to announce that there are 11 women leading our initiatives, along with many young girls in the youth club as well, who support us. They will help, Siri and Shubha will help us lead the panel discussions tonight. So without further ado, I would like to hand it over to Siri. Siri, over to you.
Thank you, Padmashri. Hello all, good evening. I would like to begin this discussion with an inspirational quote by Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. It shouldn't be that women are the exception. I'm Siri Malladi, a Portland resident of 17 years, an IT professional, proud mother of 2 girls, and a dance, music, and language enthusiast. Subha and I are very happy to host our very first live event of 2023. Shubha, please introduce yourself. You muted, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Siri. Good evening, everyone. I'm Subhashini Manyam. I've been living in Portland for more than 2 decades, working as a senior architect at Nike and a mother of beautiful and strong daughter, Samiksha. Strong women aren't simply born. They are made by the storms they walk through. Siri, let's get started this event.
Thank you, Shubha. Today we have 3 accomplished women panelists for the discussion from our community who will share their thoughts, experiences, and vision while discussing topics pertaining to empowerment of women as well as girls. I would like to introduce one of our esteemed panelists, Chandrika Gokul. Chandrika is currently a principal program manager in Azure Cloud Engineering at Microsoft. Prior to that, she had worked at Intel Corporation as a senior director of architecture and innovation, driving business transformation, strategy, and operations. Outside of work, Chandrika enjoys traveling and has traveled to over 45 plus countries, which has helped her understand various cultures, overcome difficult situations, learn to deal with uncertainties, valuing experiences over things, but most of all being humble and grateful. She enjoys cooking, hiking, photography, and volunteering in the community. Warm welcome, Chandrika. Shubha, would you like to introduce our next panelist?
Sure. I am very honored to introduce Smita Chakravarti. Smita is a senior director at Intel and a distinguished musician. She is the granddaughter of celebrated musician Gana Kalanidhi, Dr. Vinjamuri Varadarajan Iyengar. She was exposed to music from a very early age and had the opportunity to train under stalwarts including Sangeeta Kalanidhi, Sri R.K. Srikantan, and Sri O.S. Tyagarajan, to name a couple. As Chakravarti sisters, Smita has performed extensively across India in prominent sabhas. Since moving to the US, Smita continues to perform and has added teaching to her repertoire. She currently coaches over 80 vocalists and percussionists in Portland. Smita is also a classically trained Bharatanatyam dancer who has had advanced training from Sri Nattuvan Paramashivan and continues to pursue the art from under Guru Shivagami Vanka. Her command over multiple Indian languages like Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, Sanskrit, and Hindi, and her in-depth training in music and dance enables her to provide holistic art education to her students. Smita is also a sought-after MC for cultural events in Portland. Smita is a proud mom of 2 kids and food enthusiast. Smita is also our HSNA board member. Warm welcome, Smita. Who do we have next, Siri?
Last but not least, we have Premi Vinayagam on the panel. Premi is the founder and owner at OVM Photography. OVM started as a weekend passion gig 6 years ago in her tiny living room space and now celebrates 1,000 plus shoots 685 customers turned friends, and its own studio space. Besides photography, Premi spends her weekdays from 9 to 5 as a director of engineering at a software company. She spends early hours of her every weekday at the martial arts school, learning Krav Maga and Muay Thai, and the remainder as a mom of 2 adorable boys. She enjoys running, all things arts, and a good meal cooked by her better half. Welcome to the panel, Premi. Shubha, please elaborate on the panel discussion format, please.
Sure, Siri. Each of the panelists will talk briefly on questions posed from the angle of their line of work and life experiences. After that, we will open up for questions or comments from our audience on YouTube Live and HSNA volunteers. Siri, take it away.
Thanks, Shubha. To kickstart the panel discussion, could each of the panelists take turns to respond to what does women or girl empowerment mean to you? Chandrika, could you please start us off?
Thank you so much, HSNA and all the committee members and volunteers for putting this whole event together. This is a very important event for our community. And we know very well for women empowerment, we need to have good role models that they can see and be able to interact every day and day in and day out, right? So this is kind of a community event that you're bringing together, and thank you so much for doing that. So with that said, what is empowerment from my standpoint, right? It is you manifest what you believe in. So manifest, attention, and like you basically like intention, attention, and manifestation is basically if you have an intention and you put attention towards that intention, you can manifest it. But how did that really happen, right? When I look at my own story, I'll just give you a little bit short description of my life and how it all is manifesting and what does empowerment mean to me, right? It all started when I was a child. My paternal grandmother used to live with us about 5 to 6 months in a year. And she used to always tell stories. And at that time, the stories didn't mean much other than just listening to really nice stories like Nachiketa, Dhruva, and Bhakta Prahlada, all of those, like, where they're all mythological stories. It was really nice to hear with what she was saying, but what now I realize as I grew older, that she was really trying to shape my mind and shape like in a way that I can become stronger, have the self-confidence. And as I grew older, I have literally stood on the shoulders of many strong women. And one of them is my mother. She was like the first, basically like in her family on both sides, she was the first person who went to college. She did her BSc and was worked for many years and retired as a gazetted officer in the state government. So this was a big deal when I was growing up to see a role model as my mother, where she has gone through a lot of difficulties herself and still stood for what she believed in. When I look at, again, fast forward a few years where I was trying to make decisions from my career standpoint, and it was basically to choose. One of the things that always happens is at that time, it was either medical or engineering or going to any of the art forms, right? So which was very important. I was not very much, just like what Smita and others are talented with, it was mainly like I didn't have all these external activities which I was going through. So it was mainly like the education is where we were focused on. And with that, it's medical or engineering. I was pretty good at math and physics as well. I had got quite a good accolades from high school standpoint. And thanks to my father, he was a great teacher. So with all that, I got into engineering, going to electrical engineering. And my grandmother says, what will a girl do in electrical engineering? Will she be going up these electrical poles and fixing certain things? That was the mindset, the awareness was not there, right? So, but the encouragement, when I look at it, the first schooling for all of us starts at home, right? So it's basically like the mother and the father giving that encouragement and the empowerment that was necessary to form who I was and to be able to take the autonomy for what I really wanted to do. So went into electrical engineering, and there definitely like a few girls. It was like about 15% at best were number of girls when you look at the guys in the school. And basically getting through all that, long story short, come into the US and got married at a young age. Again, what I want to always say is the empowerment is one thing is in the family. The second thing is for girls, especially the biggest decision you are going to make is choosing your life partner. You want to have a supportive life partner because that is going to really manifest when you are you can put all the attention that you want, but you will not be able to manifest if you don't have the support. So with that was, even though my parents had given me the wings, I always tell my husband, he is the wind beneath my wings. So it is extremely important for me to have that support. Second, the other thing is going into the workforce. After I graduated from master's here, I went into the workforce, started at Intel, and there I did have supportive managers. I cannot say that, yes, we were 5 women in all of like about 300 men in the organization in the supercomputers division. But they did not make me feel like I was just somebody, right? I was focused so much on the work that I didn't really bother, like maybe because I came from this family with 35 plus first cousins, right? So I grew up in this kind of a larger family picture. But that, having said that, that kind of an empowerment where even having good managers and having the support system that I got from the friends within there, even with the male community, it kind of helped a lot. So again, I'm just going to shorten this really. I can get all the support I want from the community, from parents, from family and everything, but I need to really do the hard work. Without my hard work and my perseverance, things cannot happen. Along with all this, God's grace, right? And I always also believe in this, one of the Bhagavad Gita quotes on chapter 2, right? Karmanya vadikara shema paleshu kadachana. That is one of the things where they say, you do your work. Don't have the expectations of, I want this or I want that. Let God give you whatever he wants. Do it with good attitude and you will be blessed with whatever it is. So for me, when I look at the empowerment means, it comes from parents, it comes from the universities, the schools, the role models, the teachers, and it's all of this put together plus God's grace. So that's what I call as empowerment.
Wonderful, Chandrika. Smita, would you like to share your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely, Siri. Thank you, first of all, HSNA, for an amazing job, not just in this chapter, but across all the other chapters. And thank you for having Chandrika, myself, and Premi here. It's really humbling to be amongst these amazing women. So let me talk a little bit about my perception of women empowerment, right? When you look at the definition, empowerment itself means that you have the ability to choose, whether it's the ability to choose for yourself or ability to influence or make a change. That's basically what empowerment means for us. And I completely agree with Chandrika. I think you need a system, an ally, a support that actually allows you to grow, to fly. But I think fundamentally, you should give yourself permission to be empowered. I think a lot of us, we are conditioned in a way to think, do I have the permission to do this? You have to have the permission. You have to give yourself the permission to say, I am empowered, and hence I can make the choice that I want to for the future. And what does that mean? What does choice mean? We have to look at from a social aspect. I can choose to be what I want and what I want to represent myself in the society. You want to look at an educational aspect. I can choose to study or teach what I want to teach or study in the environment. You have to look at an economical aspect of empowerment. I need to be able to make my own financial decisions. I was actually watching, coincidentally, it was not related to this event, but coincidentally, because it was Women's Day, there was a video that landed in my phone, which talked about how 80% of the women in India actually don't have understanding of the finances. So they don't know how to pay a bill. They don't know how to manage their money. They don't know what everything. It's a different story in my house. I mean, like it's probably empowerment has gone to a different level over here. But the key thing over there is I think they need to have the educational freedom, the social freedom, the economical freedom, the political freedom, not having to vote for somebody that is not your choice, or you have to be able to choose what you stand for. And it's okay for you and your husband, or you and your father, you and your sister to be on opposite ends of a philosophy. And that's, for me, is empowerment. It's okay for me to be me, being different, right? And ultimately, empowerment also means psychological safety, right? Which means that I know that I can make these decisions, and I don't have the fear of being subjected to criticism or subjected to any kind of disabling for myself, my strength, or the other way around, right? You are empowered to make your decisions, but you don't have the responsibility. That's not good as well. So when I say, the psychological safety, it means I control the destiny of what I want to do. That basically for me is empowerment. And society, your family, your spouse, your partners, your friends, your girlfriends, you need to have a troop behind you who actually is going to lend you all of the support to actually take you forward, because it's not easy. I mean, we say it's if you have all of the support, it's easy. It's still not easy, because there are moments that you check yourself and say, okay, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? And so you need to have that force behind you, but you also need to convince yourself that you are it and you are enough to make the choice for yourself, right? So that for me is empowerment, is the ability to choose with the responsibility that comes with it, whether in any of these aspects, right? So, yeah.
Awesome. Very insightful. Premi, what are your thoughts?
Sure. Beautifully said, Smita. Actually, I think mine will jive a lot with how you ended. But first, thank you, HSNA, for this opportunity. Very, very humbled. I came in with a mindset to learn from some of these amazing panelists, and I'm learning in the very first 5 minutes of the chat. So let's talk about what does empowerment mean to me, right? Empowerment, if I just look at the word as such, it literally means to impart power to someone who lacks it, right? So it is basically given and not claimed based on how I read the word. That pretty much, to me, is against the essence of feminism. Let me pause there. I strongly believe that every woman have always been strong and therefore cannot be empowered. The strength is right within them and has always been there. All they need to do is tap in their innermost femininity and nourish it. Each time a woman stands up for herself without knowing it possibly or without even claiming it, she stands up for all women. That to me is powerful. And that is actually how she empowers the village around her basically. So if I'm looking at 2023, maybe my answer would be 100% different 10 years ago, when I felt like I have this community. I have a really, really supportive then boyfriend, now husband, who totally builds my wings to fly. But now in 2023, when I look around and see there are so many different capabilities, so many different women coming from amazing backgrounds with lots of wings, lots of colors around them. And the only thing that they need to see is look at themselves and realize they have that potential. And when they do that, they are spreading the village around them with that kind of a power. And I think that is the empowerment that we need now, like to spread that positivity and spread that power to build an entire group of women who is also empowered and a strong kind of community. So that'll be my take on women empowerment.
Shubha?
Yeah, thank you very much. That was very good message. Moving on to the next question. Currently, where are we as women with respect to empowerment? Chandrika, can you please go ahead?
Sure. You know, one of the things like I was looking at when you guys talked about this empowerment, I wanted to always, my analytical mind always goes into, okay, how are we? Where are we in terms of this statistics? And, you know, that is like the numbers that does come to mind, right? So I just pulled out a few numbers which I came across, right? In the high-tech industry, there is still like 1 in 5 are the women in any of these high-tech industries. So which means even though there is 50% of the global workforce as women, 20 of that, only 20% are in the tech industry, right? So we still have a long ways to go. So, but on a global scale, we are around 26%. So that was in the US. In the global scale, we are 26%. But what they are saying is, in the next 5 to 7 years, we will go up to 40%. That's still low, right? Where are we in terms of 2023? So when you look at this, like when we say S&P 500 is the indicator for finance, like all the financial numbers or NASDAQ or whatever, right? The GAFAM, what they call, like Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft are the 5 top indicators that people look at. Even though there are a lot of tech industries, these are the 5 that they mark as the indicators, right? Even with that, there is only 4 out of every 4 out of every 100 are in the tech side of it, right? So it's not, there are many women in the workforce, but there aren't that many tech women that are there. And 15% of the Fortune 500 companies, we have CEOs as female, but of which there are, this has gone up, by the way. This is a positive number. There were 7 in 2002, 41 in 2021, 74 in 2022. So that number has gone up. But when you look at the IT sector, we have 5 CEOs who are female, right? And now, while I was thinking about this, I was saying, like, if I were to ask any of our girls, right, or women in the community, can you name the tech female CEOs right now that we have? Very rarely can somebody come up with the names that maybe Lisa Su might come up, but whether it is Julie Sweet from Accenture or Christine Leahy from CDW, it's very hard for people to know those names. Mark Zuckerberg comes quickly. Satya Nadella comes quickly, right? So the mental model that the kids have is still a male figure when they think about it. So how do we change this? These are the things that we will need to talk about it. And I think these are stuff that we'll need to at least change the dynamics in terms of the thinking and the talking. So again, in the areas of engineering, we are just 22%. Computer science is 20%. Physics is 21%, right? So these are some of the things that I was looking at from a statistics standpoint. And I was asking about the Gen Z. How do they look at when they are looking at a tech sector? Are they interested in a tech sector, right? Young women are definitely seeking jobs that are in the tech sector, but they want to have a purpose within it. It's not that they just want a job, they want to have a purpose behind it. However way that purpose is defined, right, is there. But that is the mindset that they have. And that they have to be able to make a positive change. This is how they are thinking today. And it has to be rewarding work. If it is not rewarding, in our generation, we used to stick on with the job for many years, right? Here, when the kids feel that they are not rewarding, they just say, oh, I'm done, right? So, and they should get an opportunity to be inclusive within the organization or the environment that they are in, right? And many times when I see this, when I talk to the kids, they are saying like the vast majority favor their career in tech, but the sector is exciting and innovative and cool, but they are also like saying like there is a lack of support for them at the young age. They are not getting that kind of support, and many times the teachers are also not giving them that kind of environment in which the girls can go into tech, right? And there aren't that many enough role models, female role models, that they can look up to, right? So these are things that are the indicators today that we will need to change. If we have to change something in the next 10 to 20 years, there needs to be some markers. And every time we look at what is the success metric for us, right? What is the roadmap that we need to define? What are the KPIs? What are the OKRs? Or all these things that we try to talk through. What is that? We need to define that and really need to progress towards it. Today, we are making progress. We are far better than where we were. When I joined Intel 30 years ago, when I talk about the numbers, it makes me feel different. But it was 5 women in the entire organization, right? Today, when I go in and I see more than 5 women. Sometimes I see 5 women in any of the meetings, which is really good. So we have definitely made progress, but have we really been at parity? Are we looking at from a salary parity and all of those? Do we have that? Some cases we do, but some cases we don't. But we still need to have those role models. That's how I'm thinking.
Thank you, Chandrika. A very good information. And I think we have a long way to go. We have come, I think we've come, very well, but then we have a long way to go. Thank you. Smita, can you share your...
because Chandrika covered the technology aspect of it, I'll probably cover from the arts perspective, but I'm not going to cover just the fine arts, performing arts, but also other arts. When I'm looking at it holistically. Actually, when you look at arts, getting people into arts and looking at women in arts is probably easy. We're so conditioned in our minds that we expect a teacher to be a woman. When we model a teacher in a UX design or something, we put a woman there, right? When we model a dancer, we put a woman there. When we model a singer, we put a woman there. So it's actually much easier for people to understand and conceptualize with the fact that there is a woman over there. So, but that does not mean that there are no problems for women in that particular genre as well. And, I was digging up some statistics, like what does it, does actually gender bias play in arts, And so, as you know, right, there's a very big research that was done for chamber music, right? People used to actually go and play violin and everything. So you're auditioning for a symphony. The percentage of women who got selected was actually significantly lower. And it was like almost nil, right? Then they started doing these screens where they actually put the musician behind the screen. So the panelist would not know whether it is the violinist is a female or a male, right? So then it was a question to think whether, you don't know who it is. You're just purely basing it on the music. So you would think, apparently, the heels, the click of the heels actually made a difference in choice. So they actually asked the women and the men to not wear shoes. So all players actually play barefooted as auditioning for chamber so that they actually can get the equity of opportunity. I mean, that's just one instance in which you're looking at how even in art, we actually tune ourselves to men being the breadwinner, hence I need to provide more opportunities to men, versus actually considering the fact that maybe she is the breadwinner, she is the sole earner of the house, and she's taking care of everybody, and I need to give her the opportunity too, right? Painting, I actually found out that women art is represented significantly lesser in most of the museums. So museums routinely skip women artists. right? And even when they are paid and showcased, people in general tend to pay 40% lesser for women painted paintings than men paintings. And this was again done with a control group. This is an article on NPR. I would ask everybody to go and listen to it when you get a chance. But it's amazing to note that, in an art form over here, people actually, you can't, when you look at a painting, you can't differentiate whether the man painted it or a woman painted it. But still, when they know the name of the painter, the people tend to pay 40% less for the same painting, right? Which is unfortunate. It's actually to look at this from the lens of remuneration. Brazil did a study, and their entire study showcased that the wage of artists in the artist genre, the women were paid 40% lesser than their male counterpart, whereas in the other fields, there is still an equity issue, but it was 20% lesser than the male, versus in this case, it was 40% lesser than the male, right? So when you look at it from a statistics perspective, I think we have a lot of women in the environment. We have a lot of women who learn different arts. I don't think the percentage of people in art is the issue there, but us actually giving them the equal value and equal opportunity is a big step that we need to take. And that's still not happening. And that's where we need to move the needle forward, is empowering female artists, empowering them. And a lot of women are doing that. They're actually taking these messages and putting them out there. You see songs written by Cher, songs written by Aretha Franklin, right? So where she's talked about respect for women. So there is a lot of empowerment and messages that are being done because people receive art very well. And so we actually we can use it as also a medium to educate everybody around us, right? But a long way to go, still a long way to go in this area.
Thank you, Smita. Very, very, very insightful information and very good examples. I think we all need to go back because, as you said, you will naturally think that in art, it's at least in that area, women are up front, right? But looks like that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not the fact.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Premi, we would like to hear your thoughts on.
Sure, Simona. So I would say, as a small business owner, like putting that hat on, in the recent years, I think we have seen a significant increase in the number of women starting their own businesses, right? Our own Home Cooks PDX community is a great example. Within PDX, this is not just a trend, but I think it's a testament to the immense potential and strength that every woman possesses. Women entrepreneurs are actually changing the game and challenging traditional roles in the business world overall, right? Kim Jones of Spanx, or Cindy Mee of VIP Kit, and Julia Collins of Zume Pizza. And if you're all looking at who these folks are, I would strongly recommend go look them up and look at all the cool products they've come up with, right? So, but reflecting more on this question as a small business owner, where are we right now with respect to women empowerment in 2023? I would say we are, it is a yes and situation. What I mean by that is, yes, we have come a long way, but we got some work to do, and we got some work to do. And as a small business owner, on a specific day of starting from lead generation to actually fulfilling a photography and delivering something to my client, one particular small business owner wears at least 5 different hats. That is actually 5 different hats or 5 different teams you need in an entire organization, right? From sales, marketing, creative visionary, being a photographer, accountant, financing, all in addition to our daily duties of being, for me, it's a daily duty of being an engineering leader, mom, daughter, and also a partner, right? So we are going to need a village to support us. How many times have we found it easier to just go add to cart button in Amazon versus taken a conscious effort to go look up whether there is a small business owner in the community who's going to provide the same product? It might be probably a few dollars more than what you're going to find on Amazon, but you're talking about the community that's going and the village that's going to support your own small business owner and how you are helping empower their business, right? How you are going to provide that additional validation to somebody who has taken that effort to go set something up and prove and become a role model in the society, right? So I think that's the kind of village that we need to build. So it is not just on that one person who is going to go prove herself out and feel empowered in this particular time of the year, but it's the entire community that needs to start to create that particular environment for them, which is why I think the global theme for this year is not embrace equality like it was a few years ago. It's more embrace equity, right? Are we creating that environment to nourish and grow and be the kind of powerful women that a person can be to go and give it back to the society? And I think the other major thing that we should probably start thinking about is embracing community over competition, creating that empowering circle of small businesses that can feed into each other to build an ecosystem, right? I'm constantly, as a photographer, in a lookout of what I can offer to my customer to increase the value proposition, right? Whether it's makeup, a consult, a creative set, prints, gifts, experiences, or like that kind of what can I add on so I can provide an experience to whoever is coming to me for a photography session. So when I do that, I constantly seek small business owners in the community that can offer that, right? Growing together and creating the community or the environment for others to grow is what we need to jive with this year's global theme of embrace equity, which is very different from equality from my standpoint.
Wonderful, Premi. I think each of you have thrown focus on different aspects of empowerment coming from tech, arts, and being an entrepreneur, and very valuable insights. And like you all said, we are taking baby steps as a society, moving towards the right direction, but we have long ways to go. As women and as mothers, as accomplished leaders. In arts, in every field. So thank you to all three of you. Such insightful thoughts. I would like to move on to the next question here. I would like to hear from the panelists. How can we ensure our children, especially girls, growing up feeling empowered? We've talked about women empowerment. Now the next generation is to be in focus right now. Chandrika, would you like to get us started again?
Oh, sure. I'm very passionate also about it. So stop me if I talk too much. It's like, no, the thing is, it starts at home, right? When the girls are really coming into a family, we really need to nurture the kid and not just say like, have these ideologies like Barbie dolls for girls and trains and everything for guys, right? So that's how they are envisioning. So why can't we have role models which instead of a Barbie look at something else, right? Have those kinds of things, whether it's at the home or whether it's in schools. We need to change the entire structure, right? It's at the home, at schools, at the universities, in the community, just like what both Smita and Premi both talked about, right? We have like this boys and girls club. Do we have like a tech women club within? And this is like what is this? What you guys are doing in HSNA is just brilliant, right? I mean, we need to create that community and have this women supporting women. Many a times, like there can be competition, but we need to have more of the cooperation as opposed to the competition that comes along, right? So be supportive of one another, and that is what the kids role model what they see. You can tell them all you want, but what they see is how they are going to behave, right? So that is how we'll need to tell them that, right? And we need to also add the three parts that I always look at is at home, what can we do? In the classroom, what can we do? At work, what can we do differently, like going forward for the kids and for the younger generations, right? At home, I feel like we need to talk about technology. Today, a lot of talk goes on about social media, about everything else, right? But the news that goes on, but why don't we have conversations at the dinner table and talk about certain things about, you don't have to talk about technology per se, but why can't we talk about women role models in technology as a dinner conversation? Let them come up with some of these ideas, right? And how have they done? What are the difficulties that they have faced? Go through that at home. Have female role models that we talked about. And many times having the, when people talk about certain things, the excitement is not there. When you talk about technology, they think it is a drab. So sometimes even parents have to get involved, get the excitement and bring the kids up, show them the opportunity. Because just because the parents may not like it or they don't want to do it or whatever, that doesn't mean like the kids don't have the knowledge, or they may not. Only when you give them the opportunity can they go in there, right, to see what is possible. Show them that possibility and engage them with, if you cannot do that, at least engage them in communities where that can be done. So, but do expose them, right? And in the classroom, right, one of the things, talking to these Gen Z folks, they are saying like they don't get that kind of environment in the classroom. The teachers are not giving them those kinds of opportunities, at least from a girl standpoint, right? So we need to have, like, are there things like career days that we can take these girls and boys? I mean, I'm not there going to say this, right? We need to have both of them go to these career days that happen, show them this computer programming. We have this like girl code, like kind of girls can code,
camp. Yeah,
all those. But the thing is, it doesn't, what people think is, the girls think is, hey, if I'm an engineer, if I want to go into the science and technology, I have to code. I don't like to code. But there is so much more than coding in this STEM, and giving them that opportunity and showcasing that you can do this technology in multiple different fields, that's going to be important even at the school level. Now coming at work, role models again, for me, like, I had a lot of good male role models and female role models, so I could go to either one of them, right? So having that kind of a supportive environment where you are given the opportunities, there is pay parity, there are positions that are created, and people believe in you. I think Smita touched on that, right? People should believe, and it has to be, you have to believe in yourself, and the others also should believe in you that you can do that. That kind of possibilities should be created. Awareness. Now people are doing this diversity and inclusion as some kind of an awareness that does come along. But at the same time, we need to encourage that and do it for the right reasons, not for just filling in the quota system, right? And educating not just women, but also men about what it is that women can do. So at the end of it, right, when I look at all of this, we can do all this awareness, right? We can get the awareness, we can do the support, we can get the community, parents can do everything, all of it. But at the end of it, that whole perseverance and that hard work and the dedication and the mindset, all that should come from the kid itself. And how do you nurture that? That is going to be very important, right? So, and all of these put together should be there, but they also should do that. And again, going back to one of these Bhagavad Gita quotes, right? Uttaret Atmanatmanam. That is like, basically you can give everything to the kids, but you have to lift yourself. Only you can do that, right? So the kids should know that hard work is important, perseverance is important, the self-discipline is important. All of those should come together along with all these opportunities that they are going to get.
Great thoughts, Chandrika. Thank you. Smita, would you like to share your ideas on this?
Yeah. Definitely. Thanks, Siri. Chandrika, you said so many things that, just went to what, I was actually thinking about as well. I think raising empowered strong girls. And I'm going to change my word because Premi, thank you. I don't think it's empowered girls. I think it's raising strong girls who self-empower themselves, right? That's about it. They give themselves permission to do it, right? Be rock stars, be badass, right? That's what it is. I probably said a word that you shouldn't do on YouTube, but I think we need to help them voice their opinion. And that starts out with dinner table discussions, right? And it doesn't need to be about a specific topic. Like Chandrika said, pick any topic, pick a debate, pick a political view, pick something. Ask them to say what is different about, what do you think is different about this, and why is you, maybe take a stance that's completely opposite to your daughters, just so they know how to argue, how to actually stand up for themselves. I think it's a big amount of training that needs to be done, something that I actually got at our dinner tables. And my parents used to have these massive debates around dinner. And we used to debate everything from Satya Sai Baba, to whether, Christianity and Judaism are the same, or, all topics under the sun, whether we should eat ice cream or is ice cream a soup, from everything, right, under the sun. And it's a good exercise because you will actually enable your child to voice her opinions. Don't let boys will be boys attitude get away. I actually think that's actually one of the bad things. Oh, boys will just be boys. That's one thing that you cannot agree. You need to raise boys to be okay with an extremely strong woman. I read this article once which said, I brought up my daughter to stand up for herself. Unfortunately, I did not raise my son to actually be okay with that kind of a strong woman. And so he's having problems in his marriage because he is not able to do that, right? So raise your boys. It's not just about empowering your girls and training the girls. It's also raising your boys to be okay with them. The other thing I would say for girls especially is ask them to stand for what they want, right? If it is equity they want, they need to stand for it. If it's equality they want, they need to stand for it. Ask them to find their voice and stand for it, right? It means to be perseverant. It means to work hard. It means to be confident in what their choice and what their option is. And it's okay to be different, right? I think that's one big thing for us. We have this ideology of girls are all like this and boys are all like that. I think Barbie example is great, right? It's okay for your girl to play Pokemon. It's okay for your son to actually play with dolls. Don't put them into a mold and force them to be one or the other. And I think that is also an extreme element of empowerment. And practice what you preach. As parents, we at home are probably the first people that they see. And so if I tell my son saying, you need to be okay with a strong woman, but at the same time, if, my husband doesn't share 50% of the work with me, we are not creating that example at home, right? So we have to build that environment to show what equity and equilibrium looks like. It's not always equality, it's equilibrium that you actually are looking for in an environment. And that's what you need to strive for. Allow her to know that she has to build a network around herself, a network who is actually going to say yay to all her aspirations, but also coach her, tell her what she's doing wrong right on her face. And I have awesome group of girlfriends, a mom who's not shy and a sister who's not shy at all, right? So we have this, they will tell me if I'm doing something stupid, right? They will tell me to my face. But they're also the first person, if I say, I'm thinking of this, they're the first person to also say, yep, go for it. What can we do for you? How can we help you? So help her build that click, help her build that circle around her, because you will need it in tough times. You need somebody to fall back on tough times. And roads are tough. I mean, let's be very honest. We all have faced some hurdles in our life, but the support and the structure and the self-respect for yourself are the three things that are going to help you move forward. So that's what I would encourage in all our little girls who are listening today. Yeah.
Awesome. So much common sense, but we still sometimes fail at all of the things you just mentioned. Premi, what do you think?
Beautifully said, Smita. Actually, I will have to kind of score down some of my points because you nailed it 100% on so many different levels. I kind of would like to say, yeah, right there with you. Yeah, if I have to just summarize this as a thing that what I have to bring up or tell, I'm going to say children, not just girls, because I say this to my boys too. I would say encourage kids to explore their interests, right? And that way we're not going to put a gender bias on one art or the other. I would want to show them that these are all the options. What do you want to go try out? Just go try out. I mean, I do that even today. I have my to-do bucket list keeps growing. My husband keeps mocking at me for that. I write down every year to go try out one new skill set, just for the sake of experiencing it. And if it sticks, it sticks. And I continue exploring that kind of a thing, just to see how that feels, right? Be it axe throwing, or I started Krav Maga the same way too, but has stuck to it for about 7 years now. So I think giving them that kind of wide open, just go try it. You don't have to stick to it if you don't like, but just go give it a shot and see where you stand. I think that is one thing that is quite powerful, showing them that it's not just the studies, but there is so much more outside of that you can explore. And I'm here to support you is a very, very powerful platform that you're providing to them, and providing positive role models. Just like how Chandrika mentioned, we talk about Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Jeff Bezos. Let's change that. Where's my lineup of women heroes from within the community that they can relate to? Let's talk about Chandrika. Let's talk about Smita. Let's talk about Samati Raj, Siri, who are all the aunties and uncle. They are able to look right around their neighborhood and say, I want to be like her. Right? I want to grow up like her. I have somebody I can go talk to and understand what I need to do with my career because they are established. They are already there. They'll be able to guide me rather than trying to go Google up or now ChatGPT, look into Jeff Bezos' life history to figure out how he came to where he is, right? That's a little far away. Those are books, definitely, but life experiences matter a lot, right? I think we need to that's one way for us to put that thought into them, to show there's so much more success around them that they can relate to and definitely grow. The other thing I would say is, like Smita mentioned, teach them to stand up for themselves and challenge stereotypes. Right? Honestly, Krav Maga and Muay Thai has taught me so much in my life about confidence that I never imagined. Some kind of a self-defense at an young age is really powerful, not just for the sake of I can go in the middle of the night and go fight 10 people. No, not for that. But the level of confidence it provides in anyone to actually go and the mind power that it provides is really powerful. So I would definitely say that is one other tool that we can provide to them. And showing them the power of clear communication in any relationship or in anywhere through their life, right? Being clear with their friends. We talked about building that network. It doesn't always mean that network, you will only get positivity from that network. There might be times where they're getting negativity from the networks, the bullies that they're going to face in the school. There might be people who are going to boo their ideas. There may be failures in their competition that they go to. But the clear communication on what is my boundary, what I appreciate, even when they're bullied, what they don't, and standing up for that is important. That the same thing grows up all the way up to the relationship too, right? Being open about what I need to be successful in what I'm doing is very critical. I do that with Shiva a lot, and oftentimes now I don't even have to spell what I need. There is no Monday, Tuesday, I do something, or Tuesday, Wednesday, he does these chores. It's basically who has the cycle time to go pick something up, and we know the house needs to be in this form and everybody needs to be fed. Whoever has the cycle time on that particular day just picks it up, and that's the kind of clear communication that builds a relationship. That again is the role model that Smita and Chandrika were talking about, right? We are setting up a role model within the house for my boys to basically say, no, cooking is not just mommy's job. Lifting the big suitcase when I go on a big trip is not just dad's job. Even my husband keeps mocking, have mom to put it up. She's much probably will be able to do it much sooner than I do. But I mean, he probably means it as a joke, but even saying that to the boys and putting that kind of an image in their mind is something that I really appreciate of him, to actually help build and model and break that stereotypes at home, right? And help them kind of embrace the feeling that I would want them to have stronger women as partners in their life. But when they're doing it, I want them to actually think that that is normal to see women who are powerful, and not it's a special thing that my woman is powerful, right? I want it to become a normal a decade from now, a normalcy that we all live in a decade from now. So I think that's on us to start putting that seed in the new generation as they are growing right now.
Wonderfully expressed, Premi. Shiba, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Premi. I think you all touched upon very foundational points that we sometimes, don't think about, right? In our, when we are, bringing up kids, we don't think about, we're always, as a parents, we are always in one mindset, but this is very, very, very helpful. I think, Siri, I think we can now have the panelists field some questions from our live audience.
Yeah, sure. I have a few that have come in. One of them being, how do you keep yourself updated with the industry amidst maintaining a good work-life balance? So I think anyone can take this. So
I can start on that, Siri.
Okay.
So my philosophy for work-life balance has been, it's my choice, right? Ultimately, it's my time that I have to choose. And I always tell, women actually grow up with this mindset, like Premi said, we have to break some molds that we have to do all the work at home. We have to actually do the cooking, the cleaning, and everything like that, right? What I tend to choose is I choose the work that is the most value add to my family and to myself. And I prioritize only that, which basically means that in my case, A, I hate doing laundry. B, it doesn't matter to my family who does the laundry as long as it is done, right? So it's a chore that I have outsourced completely. I love to cook. My family loves to eat what I cook. So I actually take pleasure in investing in time to cook and time to learn. So the other chores, so look at your environment and look at the chores. So all of my cleaning is outsourced. All of my laundry is outsourced. My prep work for my meals is outsourced. I actually bring somebody to cut my vegetables and everything. So I have time to prioritize on what I want to do, which is my work, my family, my music, and my learning, right? So you have to make that choice. You don't need to be a super mom to be a superwoman. This was actually a statement that was made by Kumud Srinivasan, who actually I think Chandrika might know from Intel. She made the statement in one of the women's meetings, and that was like a click moment for me. Like, I don't need to be a super mom to be a strong woman, right? I don't need to do everything. So my thing would be prioritize. Look for what gives you value. Look for what gives you joy. Marie Kondo says it sparks joy. That activity should spark joy for you. For me, that's cooking with my family. For me, that's playing games with my family, doing a puzzle that takes 15 hours on a dining table. That sparks joy, not laundry, not cutting vegetables, right? So yeah, that's how I manage my time. So that I would basically encourage you to do the same. Yeah.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Smita.
If I were to add to what Smita said, right, when I look at work-life balance, first of all, I don't even like that terminology that people use as balance, right? So for me, work happens, life happens. It's what you do to prioritize that particular day. For example, when my daughter was growing up, there were times when she was not feeling well, and I had to put 100% of my time dedicated at home, taking care of her. Or where there were times when I had to put 200% at work. So it is not a balance that at 5 o'clock I just leave and go, right? That's not what it is. Whatever is a priority at any given time, I put in that. And that is where I think when Premi was talking about Elon Musk, I really wanted to talk about, but I held myself back. But, do really women want to go and work at a company like that where they work for 16, 17 hours every day in and day out and sleep on the floors to get things done? I don't know if women will want to do that. I don't know if men will want to do that. So when you are looking at a work-life balance, that probably may not be the kind of a balance whether a man or a woman would want. Then the second thing I always look at is sharpening the skills, right? You can be doing a lot of the work really efficiently, but if you are not sharpening your skills and keeping up with the new things that are coming together and learning, you are going to be outdated in the tech industry really quickly, right? So many times I always give kids this story where they say, like, there were two people who are chopping the wood and they both get the axe at the same time. They're chopping really fast. But then one guy takes 2 hours for his lunch, comes back, and then it chops more, right? This guy, the other guy is just chopping and chopping and chopping. And then this guy says, I've been doing it for 10 hours. You take 2 hours lunch and you come back, but you chop more wood. How is that possible? And he says, I take 1 hour lunch and I take the rest that I need for my body. But the other 1 hour, I'm just sharpening this tool so that when I come back, I can chop it faster. So it's very important that you're sharpening your skills and learning new things at any given time, that you're not becoming outdated faster. So that constant learning is what is very important.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Chandrika. There was one question, I think this was already answered, but I'll just talk about it. What is the true meaning of women empowerment at personal level in each panelist view? How do they measure of success in that aspect?
I can go first. I mean, there's one of the Premi, unless you guys want to go.
Yeah, I think it was partially answered, but yeah, if you have thoughts that jumping at you, please go ahead.
Thing is, for me, the inner peace that I feel every single day, right? Am I true to my conscience of what it is that I'm doing, right? That is very important for me. So that kind of empowers me to do what is the right thing, whether it is for the community, for the organization, for anybody. If I am not calm within, I cannot give back to somebody else. So that is very important for me. That is how I measure success.
Yeah, I think I would probably echo on this. How do you measure your own success part is my happiness index. If I feel content, end of the day, that yes, I feel accomplished and I have done this, that's how I measure my success overall, as how much I feel good about myself in a day.
Yeah, actually that's it. I go to sleep happy. That means I've done it well. And, I'm not troubled by any decisions I've made, or that's my choice again, right? And I'm happy. That's about it. Your inner peace.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we can go with another question from the YouTube chat. This one's a bit long. While traditionally women have done the cooking at home in majority of the families, especially in Indian culture, why is it that a vast majority of chefs in restaurants are men? Do you have statistics on the percentage of women chefs in restaurants, especially Indian restaurants? Is there some kind of bias against women in this regard?
I think Sumati would probably be the right person to answer these questions
Right.
because she actually runs a business restaurant, or Chandrika, who actually has run a restaurant, But, behind a lot of chefs, there are a lot of creators like Sumati and Chandrika who are women. So we tend to always see the chef who is actually there, but not the creator behind. But again, it's a fact. It goes back to the mindset of breadwinner of the family, et cetera, again, the bias, right? We have to eliminate the bias in hiring. We have to, and the research says if you have a brain, you have bias, right? So the best that we actually can do is being cognizant of that bias, that it exists in every walk of our life, in every decision that we make. And we need to pause and think about, what does this mean? Am I actually making this decision within a bias or outside a bias, right? Am I hiring this person because I like this person, or I'm hiring this person because they are good at the job? I think they are two different things, and we need to correct ourselves every time we're doing. And the more we do this in every field, and I don't think it's limited to music, like I talked about the chamber music example as well. It's not limited to cooking, or it's not limited to photography or anything, right? It's the choice that we make to give an opportunity, especially now, because we actually know that we are behind for women. We need to do what we call the affirmative action, which is, all things considered, if it is equal, give the woman a chance, right? That's what it means. It does not mean give the woman a chance even if it is not equal. Even all things considered, everything is equal, and you have a woman candidate and a male candidate, give the woman a chance. That's your affirmative action. That's doing a little bit positive to move the dial forward, right? So check your biases when you're hiring or you're actually placing, and then affirmative action when you're actually making that choice. Right.
Adding to that, right, the way I look at many of the things, I was just thinking, because I wanted to go to a culinary school as a secondary thing, right? Because I do like cooking. But one of the things that the person said is, it requires a lot of endurance, especially if you're going into having to stand for like 8 or 10 hours continuously, day in and day out. And that kind of an endurance is not many. I'm not saying women are not going to have it, but it's a lot of hard work from a physical level, right? Will they be able to do that day in and day out? Maybe some women can, but I don't know whether everybody can, right? So from an endurance standpoint, that's where I was just thinking when the question came about, that men may have physically, like they have more endurance of doing it. Probably that could be one of the things that why there is more of a gender bias on that side.
I would probably add a lighter note to that, right? Maybe women are natural in cooking, and I'm glad we are changing the scenario here where they really need to go to school to learn it the right way, and I'm glad we're making that change. But again, jokes apart, I think it is very valid that lots of chefs are men compared to women in that industry overall, and but just reflecting back on some of the cooking shows that I watch with the family, I've heard so many of them look back up to I was inspired by my grandma's cookbook. I was inspired by my mom making this particular soup. So I think we have placed some level of inspiration in them following that passion. And I think for now, I will take pride in that.
Well said.
That's very good. I'll go with the next question. Can speakers share an encounter with a strong women role model and how it influenced them?
For me, it is Oprah Winfrey. The first model is my mother, because she is like my topmost model that I always look up to, right? One of the things for me is when I was growing up or when I was having difficulties, right? When my daughter was growing up and she was having problems where she was not getting her, what do you call this thing they put in the mouth? Pacifier. Thank you. So she was keeping the pacifier on for like when she was close to 2.5 years old. I used to tell my mom she's doing this, and she says, she's 2.5 years. Let it be. When she's 20, if she does that, then worry about it. But don't do it now, right? So the kind of, and even when she was 6 months old and I was having difficulties balancing work and life at that time, I was thinking, okay, I'm just going to quit. She says, in your mind, keep 1 year that it's going to be really difficult, right? And go through that difficulty together along with Gokul, right? So you both have that in your mindset. This 1 year is going to be difficult. Give your chance, give your thing like 1 year chance for both of you. And if you still after a year think that that is going to be difficult, then make the decision. But 1 year is a short time when you look at the whole span of life, but don't give up that easily. And those were some of the kinds of things that she gave me, which was like an everyday, like bumps on the road that I was going through was very important, where she held me through and gave me that kind of a guidance and support and be able to listen. So she is my biggest role model for a lot of the things, right? But the second, when I look at all these other role models, I do look at Oprah. And the reason why I see her as one of the in the women role models aspects, right? She comes from a really difficult environment, goes through a lot of these hardships, and really makes it possible. It's not just that she has become famous and she has become well known and all that, but taking that goodness and really giving back to the world, right? So I feel like she has come from a whole circle, and she even comes up with all these new thought leaders, which we can really look at and become better people, right? So there are lots of them, but if I have to think of one person that comes to mind apart from my mother, it will be her.
Amazing.
It's
That's
awesome.
lovely. That's lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Prem,
think
do you
we
want to go
are.
next?
Sure, Smita.
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, actually, I don't have a single role model. I kind of collect a lot of things from whoever I kind of come in contact with through my life. And of course, like anybody, my mom shaped me into who I am, for good or bad. Anything when I was growing up, when she said you shouldn't do this, I always went ahead and tried it. Krav Maga being another one that I tried in a really late stage. She said, no kind of karate. That'll make you build muscles and you'll become different. I don't want you to do that. And I ended up doing it in my 30s when I found that I really want to try that. But anyways, there's a lot of things that she's taught me, right from painting and everything. So besides that, I do collect, and every person that I come across, I kind of collect a lot of things from them to say, if it fits what I want to in my vision, I kind of learn from them as I go. So there's a lot of role models. My list is too long. But going back to my point of looking around me and figuring out what my role model is, I want to give a small example about who I looked up to when I actually even thought about the small instance of, let me set up a passion gig, right? Let me set up a weekend gig. What inspired me? Actually, funny, we talked about those two people just a little while ago. Sumati Raj and Chandrika are definitely the two women entrepreneurs in the Portland community that inspired me. Even I don't know, they didn't know about it, but I actually went to Curry Leaf once. I was in Vancouver. I came and I met Chandrika. The way she was actually going to every single table, connecting with the customers, talking about how the food was and how it is done. I saw the exact same thing done by Sumati when I went to Chennai Masala. And that was when I actually thought, if I'm ever doing something outside, I want to be able to connect with my customers at that level. And that's the level of experience I want to give it to them, right? Not just do photography, take pictures, here, take your pictures, but I want to make friends. I want to be, I'm creating memories for them. I want to be part of their longer thing, just to go back and say, hey, I had this fun time talking to Premi, and also we did a photo shoot kind of a thing. So they really planted this seed in customer value for me. And Chandrika and Sumati, if you're watching this, you're totally my role model and inspiration within the community.
Awesome. Just to clarify for the audience, the Chandrika you mentioned here is Chandrika Nimmagadda, although Chandrika Gokul is super inspirational in many, many ways. So just wanted to clarify.
I too wanted to say that because it's the same name. So
I'm learning a lot from you too, Chandrika. Definitely, I'm going to write up a few things that I'm inspired by what you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Premi.
Like Premi said, I think we all have so many strong women role models. I was talking, I think it starts from my great-grandmother, my great-grand-aunt, actually, and my grand-aunt. My grand-aunt was actually widowed at the age of 9, and then she pursued her education, became a principal of a college, and retired as a principal of a college. In 1900 was when she was born. So just think about the era that she was in. Of course, she had a massive ally, her father, who said, I don't care what the society says, go do what you want. No bigger role model than that, right? So, of course, now we are in a family of very strong, educated, high-willed women. My mom is a great influence on me. She's a great writer. She pushes all my buttons in the right ways, and, makes me think about what I'm doing. She's amazing. I think we both take, my sister and I, we both take a lot from my mom, both her strength and her intelligence, and a lot of the patience and regard for my father. So it's like, a mix of both. But I have to give credit to my parents over there. But there are so many amazing role models. When I look at one, I would say for me, Sudha Murthy, Infosys chairman. She's an amazing role model, starting from very humble means to being somebody who's so impactful, so powerful, and such an amazing role model that, my Aji can be this, is a chairman of a company, right? And you can actually visualize her. Like you said, Premi, I can go and look at her and say, oh, that can be me, I can be that, someday, right? I think it's an amazing thing, right? And then locally, right? Before I even started the music lessons over here, it was Usha Mami, Tini Mama and Usha Mami, who basically, Usha Mami said, Choli Smita, you teach music, you should teach music, And I started off with one student in my house, and now we have like 90 students coming home, and all for Balaji Vidyalaya. But, it's somebody needs to give you that support and that thought that you can do it. And like it goes back, right? First of all, you need to convince yourself that you can do it. But that thought of somebody saying, yep, you can do it, is a lot of power. And so I give thanks to Usha Mami. And again, my group of girlfriends, like I have an awesome group of girlfriends who are all amazing role models in their own way. Like Premi said, I take a little bit of everything. She does this really well, and I want to do that way. And it's good to observe in a lot of people what they do, and take all of the good from everyone, right? So yeah, great role models here. Premi and Chandrika, and Siri, Shubha, all of you guys manage work and all of these nonprofit work and so much other things. There's so much in you that we can learn from as well. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Smita. I think we'll move on to some questions that Shubha and I thought of, because we don't know how many questions we'll get from YouTube. So we were prepared a little bit for you guys. So I'll go with one of those. So this is a quotation by Serena Williams. She said, every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. We are strongest when we cheer each other on. Women, however, are portrayed as jealous individuals that pull other women down. So, what do you guys think about, in those lines? What are your thoughts?
I can start answering that. That actually was going to be my T-shirt. I was going to get that printed on a T-shirt and keep wearing it. I am huge into community over competition. Like I said, I think jealousy is when we leave that jealousy aside and start seeing the other successful woman as she is successful. Let me go celebrate with her. There is that level of positivity that you're going to infectiously get into yourself to be successful. I think that is the mindset that we definitely need to start embracing, right? Again, this is a stereotype. The second line that you mentioned, that women are all jealousy, is a stereotype, which we definitely need to break. I don't think that fits us anymore. We all need to just make sure we cheer every single person around us to be successful.
Yeah, very much so. And all the WhatsApp forwards don't help. They're meant to be jokes, but they irk me, to no end.
I think we need to lift each other up. I mean, it's gotten to a point where we can't step on our own toes, right? I mean, we can't be our own, a bump in our path of success, right? It is a stereotype, and it has become a stereotype because there is an element of truth that was there, right? But it's our job to change that right now. We have to make that change. We need to lift our music teachers who come into the community, bring them on together. We have some new teachers who have come in just recently. We're like, okay, let's all do this together. Let's all come together to do some events. Dance teachers, I mean, if you see some initiatives like dance teachers are coming together, it's amazing to actually see them power up and team up and drive so much change in the community. It also sets up an example for our girls that they can be strong in their own ways. They can be very different from each other, but be uninhibited in that setting, right? I think we need to set that as an example, that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be strong. It's okay to be different. And it's okay to have a group of girls who are extremely strong with you, right? So I think we need to set that as an example for our children as well.
Yeah, lift all boats is basically like the thing, right? We need to be, it's no longer, just like what we are talking here, there are not many role models. And if you are constantly competing with one another, there is not going to be role models, right? Give people the opportunity, come together, bring it on, right? That's like, for example, when I see the things that you guys are doing, and you're talking about Sumati, Mini, Jayashri, Tini, and Usha, and all these people who we are talking in here, right? And even from men perspective, we have a lot of supportive men within the community to be able to do all this, right? So I think from that standpoint, I just feel we need to lift all boats and not be competitive. There is nothing. And I always believe we are not, we cannot succeed by individually. Like we are a collective. We rely on one another, and we have to rely on one another. No man is an island, right? So we have to hold somebody's hand sometimes, and we hold on to somebody else another time. So we are together like dancing. Unanimously, otherwise it's not going to happen. So even from this community standpoint, we need to lift each person up and not be competitive, right? Each one comes with their own abilities. All these 8 billion people, there are differences in each one of us, but yet we are similar. The smile is similar. So everybody just wants happiness. What does that real happiness mean? How do we really get that? If we give that happiness to somebody, you're not going to take it away from yourself. By lighting somebody else's lamp, your lamp doesn't become dimmer, right? So it's okay to light it. It's okay to bring it on. And so that's how I also feel.
Chandrika, I actually have to say, you touched on a point. We have very self-confident men who actually are self-assured in our lives, which is why we are here,
Exactly.
Right? In a place where we are adorning a smile and sitting with other women panelists and saying, yeah, we're able to have this conversation, is because we have very self-assured men in our lives too, right? Our fathers, our husbands, and everybody are that. And we should actually give them a big round of applause for being with such, tolerating all of the voice and the opinion and everything that comes with a very strong woman, right? And I also want to touch upon some men who have done some specific actions to show the voice of the woman in a different light. Like Anandavardhana, he did a Sitayana, which is all about Sita's journey in Ramayana, and how he actually changed the narrative of it to actually say Sita doesn't have to accept Rama's apology in the end, right? And it was actually a very beautiful, very poignant story. He himself has two extremely strong, independent daughters, and it's an amazing showcase of that. I think our community, we are blessed to have such great role models. And I think we should take up to what Chandrika, you said, and what Premi said. We need to create more forums where we can bring our children and expose them to these role models, right? So that they can see that this is possible. This is okay. This is something that's matter of fact, and it's no longer an exception, right? So, yeah.
And that is very, now that I can go on rattling on this one, but it's very important, because the men should be self-sufficient in their own skin, right? Meaning, like, in terms of, they have to be strong. They have to be able to, and Smita, you touched on this one, where just don't raise girls to be powerful, but also raise the guys to be dealing with this powerful women. And yeah, that's the kind of role model men that I see within our community, because the group of friends that I have, the women are really strong, right? But the men are also equally good to be able to say, like, yeah, we are working and being with the strong women, right? So that's it. It takes both sides. So I feel like that's a good community we have here.
It was very good. Thank you very much. There were actually there are a lot of questions on YouTube, but unfortunately, due to lack of time, we will not be able to answer every one of them. I think we will have to excuse. Really sorry, because we had some technical difficulties at the beginning, so we lost some time. Siri, do you want to go?
Yeah, I will conclude the program and move on to vote of thanks soon. So HSNA's Women Empowerment Initiative, we have projects lined up to support women returning to work, single mothers, support those from the transgender community, and also women at day shelters. We, as a Women Empowerment, Girl Empowerment Initiative, hope to play a part in their journey towards self-reliance and independence. With that, I'll hand it off to HSNA's Family Support Lead, Shaila Mudigonda, for a vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Siri. Awesome panelists, awesome discussions today. Thank you, one and all. I'm Shaila Mudiganda. I lead Family Support Group along with Radhika Anantapur. We would like to really thank you all, wonderful ladies in our panel today, gracing this occasion and patiently answering all the questions. We had fantastic participation on YouTube today. Siri, Shubha, and Padmashri are the backbone for our women empowerment initiatives. Thank you for coming up with this idea, quickly seeing through this to completion seamlessly. What would we do without you girls? Ramesh is our helping hand for every initiative we undertake. Resonates with what you just said, strong ladies, they, content men to support. So thank you so much, Ramesh. Thank you so much for spending so many hours trying to get the tech support nailed and working with all of us, smooth out all the final details and handle the little technical glitch and getting us on the track today. Thank you so much, Ramesh. Thank you, Annaga and Savita, for your from Creative Team for all your suggestions and the backstage help for all of us. Thank you, one and all, once again for a fantastic evening. Padmashri, over to you to talk about HSNA's future initiatives.
Thank you, Shaila. Thank you. Wonderful program and enthusiastic participation by each of you in the panel. Thanks a lot to the volunteers. I just want to end with going through the initiatives that we are coming up with as a part of women empowerment and as a part of General HSNA, the other initiatives that we'll be undertaking this month. Ramesh, I would like to share the slides. So as a part of Women Empowerment Initiative in April, we are thinking of this VXL fundraiser. So VXL is an educational organization catering to physically, mentally challenged children in India, based out of Chennai. We have actually worked on a lot of initiatives benefiting VXL from Portland before. So many of you might be familiar with this. So this fundraiser is specifically for an autistic kid, to help out an autistic kid who is being raised by a single mom, to basically cover the annual expenses of this kid towards the kid's treatment, right, at VXL. So how we are thinking to go about this is to organize a baking camp, which is going to be led by youth and also attended by youth. And then it's going to be followed by a community baking sale. Right. That's in April. In May, we are working with Rosehaven to come up with a Mother's Day walk and run. So that's coming up in May. And then there is the Back to Work webinar that we are planning to organize, which is very timely. There's a lot of churn going on in the tech industry. So this is going to be very timely for that. So this is going to be a specific Back to Work webinar for women, and it can benefit many others too. Women already in the workforce, right, can also benefit from this. So that's specifically our women empowerment. For the general HSNA initiatives, we have the trail cleanup that we do on a regular cadence on a monthly basis. That's coming up on March 18th. That weekend, again, we are also going to do a transition project dinner service on Sunday, the March 19th. And then tree planting initiatives are going to happen on March 25th and April 1st. Please mark your calendar for all of these dates and please sign up. And we are always looking for volunteers in the community. The Earth Day is, we are going to do it. We did it last year, but then this year we're going to do it in collaboration with Chinmaya Mission. And then that's going to happen on April 22nd. So stay tuned to that channel. So there are activities coming in for the Earth Day. And then the Oregon Food Bank, we just used to do the transition project dinner services till date. But then we are going to start volunteering with Oregon Food Bank. We are mostly encouraging youth to sign up. There'll be a monitoring adult, but then we are taking in youth to come in and then serve at the Oregon Food Bank on Saturday mornings. So that's going to start in March. So we are targeting dates of 18th and 25th of March. So we are going to float out the sign-up forms for all of these initiatives. And I strongly urge all of the community folks who are interested in being involved in such initiatives to sign up and be part of us, right? So you make it happen with us. So with that, I would like to conclude. Thank you so much, everyone. And then, more power to women.
Thank you, Padmashri.